Here we are, it's the 16th of September and it really feels like autumn today, even when you look at the trees starting to turn. Now, we're at Legoland Windsor Resort for a family fun day. So I have my two boys with me today. I'm sure they'll be pictured during the day, giving their insight as to what's going on in the world of Legoland. Now, as we know from Legoland recently, we can only expect to get on 5 rides today. So we're just trying to choose our 5 rides carefully in case it is very busy. It is a bit nippy. It's definitely not the summer and not the lovely sunshine we had at Chessington last week, but we're looking forward to it. We tend to be our visits to Legoland tend to be in the rain or in the bad weather, and we know it's going to rain today. It's not going to rain till about 12:30, 1 o'clock, so we're going to make the most this morning and go on the indoor rides first thing. So that obviously when the rain hits, you can expect Atlantis and Laser Raiders and Ninjago and all those rides to get exceptionally busy. And Legoland does have quite a lot of indoor rides, so we're going to hit them first. We're going to start in Miniland. It's only 9:30, so we got to the park quite early. And we're going to have a little look around Miniland before the rest of the park opens. And I'm going to head straight to Laser Raiders. So definitely feeling the cold a bit today, but our first stop is going to be Miniland. Now, Miniland is the heart of Legoland. The models here are amazing. The areas they have, the kind of countries they take in, and all the popular landmarks from all around the world are all located here in Miniland. And we're going to have a little look around in a minute. Interestingly, as we've just come in, because we haven't been since, June? The boy doesn't know. The boy hasn't got a clue. He's just looking at me blankly, shaking his head. So he doesn't know, but we haven't been since about June. Shortly after Ninjago opened. We went on Ninjago a couple of times. You may have seen we did a couple of live feeds from inside of Ninjago. And the hill climb train is still shut. Now it's quite surprising because, you know, this is one of the biggest kind of rides in the park, certainly for disabled people and those unable to get up and down. You know, Legoland, if you have been, you know that you kind of walk down a massive hill and you come right down, and once you're inside, it's a long walk back up again. So the hill climb train is huge, absolutely huge. Now I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm assuming it's out of the park's control. I know it's been the biggest complaint from them early on in the year. I haven't really looked recently to see what it's like, but it's still closed. No sign of reopening. Whether or not they'll get it open for the kind of the Halloween season, I'm not sure. But the fact it wasn't open for summer, I'm kind of guessing they probably won't. But our cameraman Kurt today, my eldest, is going to have a quick pan around of Miniland before we move into London. Now with Miniland open, it is really quite busy here. There are people queuing over this side. I'm guessing they'll be going down to the driving school and things first, and there are people down that side that are going to be going to Ninjago first. So instead of going to London, it's London. You can see the taxis going around, you see Big Ben in the background. They don't seem to have taken it apart for maintenance like they said they were going to, so it's good publicity stunt by Merlin. And you can see the London Eye as well, which of course is a Merlin attraction. Much better view from here, so as Kurt sort of pans round, you can see some of the other lands. So we're going to head over through Paris. The Eiffel Tower is a fairly new addition to the park, rebuilt only, I want to say beginning of this year, but it may have been last year now. And you can see the smoke on Cape Canaveral over the background as well. Obviously my boy's going to stand in the way because he's catching Pokemon. But yeah, it seems quite busy. The park does feel busy today. We were kind of hoping with the weather going to be away is that we would be quiet and we could get onto a few more than 5 rides, which is the suggested ones. However, we may not. That said, we'll go and take some shots of Miniland now so you can enjoy those, as we are recording in 4K today and they do look amazing. And then we're going to head down towards Laser Raiders and that'll be our first stop of the day. Even the water doesn't look too bad today. There's a closer look at London with the marching. Outside the palace. And should we come look over here? So the views are just spectacular. I mean, we do love Miniland. You know, it's great to look around every time. The models seem to be working quite well. The trains seem to be going around, the cars are going around. You can see more trains in the background. It's just fascinating to look at. It's fascinating. Even the little models look on this boat. You can see the cranes going up and down. So I said at Blackpool, when you make a man-made sort of puddle of water, that it's a massive collection point for the park because everyone thinks it's a wishing well. And here we are in Miniland. With lots of money for Merlin. So it's not all full of coins. As you walk around some of the water things, there's not. But this particular area here seems to be a collection point. So good on them. Good on them. Work for Blackpool, works here as well.
Is that Brighton Pit? No.
Yes, that is. So as my son just pointed out, the one over the back is Brighton Pier. The Ranger ride, which you see going around there, hasn't been there for many, many years. Not that I'd expect them to necessarily update the pier because it's kind of more of a historical point than it is anything else. And over to Paris, and as we walk around the corner here, which we will do. The famous Moulin Rouge. We're just getting in everyone's way now, so we'll move over here. And the famous Cape Canaveral. And the Kennedy Space Centre. So the models seem to be in excellent condition, to be fair. Everything seems to be working, as we said, everything's going round. You can see even the buses in the background using the path. We've looked over the back, we've seen some of the fair rides going over, we'll have a look at those later. We've seen smoke come out of the spaceship. So yeah, really impressed, really impressed. And it takes it in, you know, if we look around now, there's people taking pictures. We're obviously taking videos, but we are doing it for a different reason. You know, everyone's really getting in the atmosphere. The park's not officially open yet in terms of rides and things, so you know, it's a great sidetrack. You get a good half an hour to walk around here now. You don't necessarily have to come back later. Yeah, we're going to continue to have a look around.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and we're open!
So the mass rush is on. As you can see by the crowd, look at that. Ninjago is the choice. The right choice this morning. The queue's already kind of back here. I'm not sure they've opened it yet. However, we're going to head down here and go into the tent Laser Raiders. Because the queue for Laser Raiders during the day gets absolutely horrendous. And as we said, we are expecting it to rain later. So we know it's going to get busy. This is the first one everyone comes to. And you know, you've got quite a few sport rides here. So as we look around now, the Aero Go Mad and the carousel and the chair swings as well, it's very saturated in this area. So we're going to take on Laser Raiders. It seems a good place to start. Right, so child A and child B. Who's your money going on? Cody on the right, Kurt on the left. It's a good start by Kurt, 2,500. While we're in here, we'll look at some of the detail. It's a little bit cardboard in places, but some of the models work really well. The lasers are quite big, they're quite light, as you can see from the ones in front. As we have a little look, we can shoot. They're not doing a very good job. And as you shoot something, something happens. So it's a very interactive ride. When you consider sort of Duel and Tomb Blaster, they're not that interactive. You do shoot a lot, but not a lot happens. But as you hit things here, different things happen. So the more that these guys hit as we go round, the more scenery we're going to see. Curtis, he's well ahead, 11,000. Come on, Cody. Pick up the pace. He's not doing very well, bless him. He's not doing very well. Come on, we want to see some of these models move. So simple things from kind of complete animations to just simple lights and simple changes. And then as they shoot the things, lights go on and off. And bits move left and right, and things open and things close. Let's see if they can shoot these barrels. I think there's something inside these barrels. Yeah, there we go, look. You missed that one though. Can they shoot anything over here? They're not a very good shot. I think that's what we've established here. I've got 500 points somehow. Might be the one thing I managed to shoot earlier. Go on, hit it. Hey, there he is. They took my photo then. I'm going to look good in that. Sorry, boys. things are nicely broken up, and it is actually quite dark in here. And as we said, the more things they hit, the more we see. Seems to be a couple of broken targets, and that's it. Who won?
Me, 23,000, and he got 4,000.
Forget about the scarab bouncers quite a lot, but as we were on the way out of Laser Raiders, we always thought they'd like to go on it. Now you can see my son, the eldest, Kurt, he was the one on the far left, blue jacket. You know, he's quite big, he's 13, he goes on it because Legoland here likes to go on that ride and quite enjoys the bouncing up and down. However, he wasn't allowed to sit in the adult seat, which is the one in the middle, which is the kind of normal size seat rather than the lucky enough if you've got a small bum seat, which they have to sit in. So he's walking a bit funny now, because as it drops, obviously, if you're a man, you may understand, it's a little bit painful. So he's a little bit, he's trying to recover, he's laughing and coughing at the same time, he's just trying to recover from it. It's obviously hilarious for me to watch, and you might have seen it on the video, his face of distress, but for me, quite enjoyed it. We're going to head over, we're kind of doing the park a little bit in reverse. We're going to do Squid Surfer next, and then head up to Atlantis, and then probably down to Ninjago before the weather turns. It's a little bit grey and overcast, so I hope it doesn't turn too much. This end of the park isn't very busy, even though both hotels are here, because we all know where everyone is. They're either at Ninjago or the Dragon, and it looks walk on, so let's head over to it. Sadly, I won't be driving today. This little guy will be driving. I've put the phone in the pocket, it's going to get wet. I'm getting funny looks from the staff. You can see the one going around in the background. We won't try to hold this, I don't fancy losing this on this ride. But here's my driver, we shall see how this pans out. I'm going to suggest not well at all. I'm going to suggest I'm going to get very wet. There's a lot of people waiting to push buttons. So that'd be the last time I let him steer, because it just... Why would you go through fountains of water? What possesses you on this kind of day to go through fountains of water? Let him answer the question. Why, Cody?
Because I wanted to get wet.
You wanted to get wet?
Yeah.
How is it that you're dry and I'm wet then?
After
See, always get stitched up. Always. So my arm is soaking, my feet are a little bit wet. But we move on towards Atlantis. Now we'll take him both to the hotel, so those that haven't seen the Castle Hotel yet, we'll have a quick look kind of at the finished product at the front. But this is the normal Legoland Hotel. It's not new. It seems very popular actually. Quite a lot of people in there still hanging around. You see in the background the Castle Hotel. This opened earlier on in the year. We were here for just before it opened. We got some pictures of its final part of construction. We were here just after it opened. And as Kurt's just pointed out, they've actually put a little playground in the front that wasn't here last time we come. So we'll have a quick look at that on the way past. And then we're going to head over to Atlantis. We're expecting Atlantis to be quite quiet over this side of the park, even though the hotels are here. As we said, this just isn't where people come first. So when it rains, this will become absolutely manic. But at the moment, it's relatively quiet. Now on the right here where the castle is, it used to be home to the Dino Safari. Now we quite enjoyed the Dino Safari. It had some wonderful models in it, and some of the models are still scattered around at the park. Some of them have been moved down the bottom. Back over got a hot dog stand to the right of the hotel there, and I guess some of them were probably destroyed. But the Dino Safari kind of suffered in wet weather. It was a track ride, so as soon as it rained you couldn't actually do anything, and it kind of shut down. Also suffered about the fact it only had 2 people per car. Now if you think about the families that this park kind of attracts, 2 people per car is really not that useful. The ride suffered from massive queues, it kind of suffered from quite a lot of downtime with the weather. I'm sort of not surprised they got rid of it, but this is the Castle Hotel, its replacement. I have to say, it does look sort of plastic when you're up close to it. There's nothing real about it. You can tell certainly it's a fascia, and even the joinings aren't particularly great. It looks like it's just literally been stuck on. It's actually a bit of a disappointing finish when you look at it. This is the new park area, so this wasn't here when we came last time. have a little look over. Actually, I don't think it's open yet. So it's all fenced off at the moment. As I said, it wasn't here last time we came. It still seems to be fenced off now, so I'm going to guess it's not open yet, but it's certainly something that they're looking to add probably for the closed season. The hotels, I believe, stay open all year round, so they'll give something a little bit extra to do outside of park hours that they have a little play area. But yeah, it's definitely not attached yet. There's definitely bits of wood in here that aren't quite fixed yet. Whether or not this will get any bigger, we'll wait to see. But we're going to head up to Atlantis now and enjoy some of the sea life.
Crew, the buttons that just lit up in front of you are your control buttons. Press them now to start the spin scanner. Okay, researchers, you see...
Researchers to the lost city of Atlantis.
Researchers, can you see the zebra sharks roaming amongst the ruins?
Yes, I see it.
Those sharks are spotty, not stripy. So why are they called zebra sharks?
The sharks you can see are adult zebra sharks. They may have spots now, but were actually born with stripes. The biggest zebra sharks can be up to 2.5 meters long, wider than this submarine. So they are really friendly. They don't seem to be taking any notice of those Lego divers.
What about those grey sharks?
What grey sharks? Computer, I don't...
So walk on through Atlantis. We love Atlantis, and we really don't understand. We're going to wait for this airplane to go over, because we are quite near the airport, and it is making a bit of a noise in my ear. Can't even see it. The clouds are coming over. I swear to God, it's about to rain shortly. So Atlantis, opened in 2011. Now this one here, who we'll quickly view at. Do you remember going on Atlantis?
Yeah.
The day it opened.
Not the day it opened.
Not the day it opened. No, you'd have been 2.
Who?
2. Yeah. So he doesn't remember, but we actually come up here, opened on a Thursday, and I remember it well. It was my day off work, and I had this little munchkin for the day. He was 2 years old, so he wasn't in school. And we came up here for the opening of it. It was a very quiet day. It didn't open at the beginning of the season. You tend to find that most of Legoland rides don't open at the beginning of the season. They sort of open around the late April, just after Easter, May time, much like Ninjago did. So it's been here 6 years, which is just staggering, really. We just love it. I can't underestimate this. You know, can't underestimate this ride. We talk about Legoland, and we never used to visit Legoland that much because of kind of the stigma that it was only for the children. But it's really not. There are so many kind of interactive family rides here to do, and this is a fantastic one. We took some shots of it beforehand. For those that haven't been on it, you know, it makes you feel like you are in a submarine. You're obviously not in a submarine. You climb into a big train. It's on a continuous loop of track. And you were underwater for that point, so you're never fully underwater for every point. I remember when you first went on it, kind of trying to establish how it worked and whether or not you did actually go down or anything like that. But obviously you don't. It covers the top, the lid comes down, and you get some amazing views of the sea life in there, and they are really good views as well. And why this hasn't been replicated throughout other Merlin parks is completely beyond me, because it's not particularly Lego based, shall we say. I mean, they say it's the story of Atlantis, and Atlantis is Lego based, but you know, why they haven't opened something like this at Chessington, particularly Chessington with the Sea Life Centre and quite a big space next to it, you know, rather than them looking at a 4D cinema, they should be looking at something like this. I don't really understand why they're not, to be honest with you. I can understand why it wouldn't be at Fort Park, but again, Alton Towers, you know, you look at some of the dark rides and some of the spaces they've got there, this would fit it absolutely perfectly. So it is a fantastic attraction. We've got on-ride point of views on our YouTube channel. I hope you subscribe. All the links are below for that. Have a look. We've just done some more footage of it there, and it's just brilliant for the family. It's currently walk on because it's nice and early. It can get quite large queues, but the throughput seems to be very high. It's certainly one of their better rides that you can queue for and get on quite quickly. But now we're going to move over. Well, where are we going to go? Any ideas, Kat?
Mia's Riding Adventure.
Mia's Riding Adventure, the biggest height restriction ride in the park. We're going to head over there now, and we'll see you at Mia.
Okay, nice and loud. Are you enjoying the ride so far? Fantastic. Now if you look at your window to your right, just ahead of us is the Atlantis submarine voyage barriers and level crossing. Once we go across the level crossing, I'm going to count to 3 and I want to hear everybody shout to the words choo choo one more time. And it has to be really loud so all of the fish and the sharks and the tanks on the left can hear you. Okay, everybody, get ready, nice and loud. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Well done. Now we're approaching the last part of the journey now, so it's time for a bit of a sing-along.
It's our double ride header down in Heart Lake City. Now, Heart Lake City's not been part of the park for very long now, just a couple of years. And Mia's riding adventure, which we did first, kind of snuck into the park. There was no real planning permission, and first we sort of saw of it was the massive structure from when we came over the top of the hill one day. One of the May openings as it was, but yeah, we were real surprised to see it because it is the highest height restriction in the park at 1.2 metres. Not only is it 1.2 metres, but it's quite a spinny kind of ride for a place like this. Now, the only thing that frustrates us is that at 1.2 metres, you know, the same people will be going on that ride as what are going on Cobra, and indeed going on something like Airbender and going on any of the disco rides. So it's a bit annoying that they slow it down and the spin's slower and the movement's slower and it doesn't quite spin exactly the same. I don't know what they think people are going to be like here. I don't know whether they think because they're coming to Legoland that they're naturally going to be a bit slower or what really. It just really baffles me. Now I understand with the pirate ship, because the pirate ship, you know, they do have a low height restriction. Even Chessington's one's quite scary for my little one who's 8. But on something that's a 1.2 metre height restriction, you know, you need to run it at capacity, you need to run it at what it does. So I might understand that it doesn't run kind of full speed, full spinning speed, something like you know, your travelling discos or even something like Airbender that really does travel. But certainly the speed of Cobra would be absolutely sufficient. So a little bit frustrating. But we went on the train, we did a bit of filming on the train. You may have seen the driver was particularly with it today. Thoroughly entertaining he was. He kept us going all the way around, a little bit of a sing-along, a little bit of a choo-choo. It's obviously been stolen from Alton Towers. But yeah, worked really well. So we're now at Ninjago, so we'll turn around very quickly and you can see how busy Ninjago area is. Absolutely heaving, but we're going to go and join the queue. Once we join the queue, we will go and have some lunch. But interestingly, we've already done 6, 7 rides. Remember, boys? Done 6 or 7 rides already, and it's 11 o'clock. So in an hour, we've crammed in 6 or 7 rides. And when we talk about our tips and tricks, get here early. We got here at 9 o'clock. We got into the park 9:15. We got down to Miniland at 9:30. We've had a good look around Miniland, and we got on loads of rides. So yeah, that's the tips and tricks. Get here early, it works out. How do we feel, Cody? You excited for this one?
Yeah.
You like this one? Second time. Kurt, you excited for this one?
Yeah.
How excited?
Quite excited. I just thought I'd try and get the movement.
Quite excited.
I've got to try and get the movement with your hands though.
Use one hand. We said last time we were here, use one hand and go really, really fast. It's the best way of doing it. We better get our glasses and get on, I think. Ninjago. And there's our car for this adventure. So you saw there we were just heading into Ninjago on our last part, and then we had to actually wait 5-10 minutes because the ride had broken down. We didn't know this when we went in, but however we did take in some lunch. It's always nice to have lunch. And this is one of the parks, certainly in the Merlin lineup, that we just can't afford to eat at. It is just so expensive. Now, it might be one of the better looking parks in terms of litter wise and maybe even theming. Whilst it's not the best themed one in the world, it's, you know, you can only go so far with Lego, can't you? So it is sort of works for what it is. But we couldn't afford to eat here, so we did bring food with us. So we had that while waiting for Ninjago, and then the good news was it opened, and we got it on walk-on, which was great. We enjoyed Ninjago? Yeah. You enjoyed Ninjago? Did you enjoy Ninjago?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So I come out with a higher score of 168,000. It's certainly not my best on it. 66,000, and you might as well not play, Kurt. But never mind, you did well. But we enjoyed Ninjago, and it is, you know, when we talk about dark rides and we kind of talk about things that have opened, you know, this year Merlin have opened technically 3 dark rides. We've had a reincarnation of Darren Brown's Ghost Train. We've had a reincarnation of the Bubbleworks to the Gruffalo, and then we've had Ninjago, and all of them are absolutely brilliant. You really can't doubt any of them. And you could even include Hex in that for reopening and being kind of put back to its original state. So this year we've been treated by Merlin for dark rides. You know, I said that I think Ninjago is probably my favourite, which it probably is. I do enjoy Gruffalo, and I do think it's brilliant what they've done with it, but I think Ninjago and the technology used and kind of the interactivity of it is just brilliant, And again, it's probably an attraction they should put at other parks. We then headed straight over to the Dragon, so you will have seen some footage of the Dragon and it coming into the station. Oddly only on 2 trains today. Usually on a weekend day it can run 3 trains. Now when we talk about Vampire as well kind of running 2 or 3 trains, you know, this is a great example of a ride that can run 3 trains and run it very efficiently. It is only on 2 today, however, pretty much from the entrance, it said it had a 45-minute queue. We got on in 20 minutes. And we were back off and you know, all sorted in 25-30 minutes, which is great. Saturday, peak day, middle of the day, and we've managed to get on and off the Dragon in half hour on 2 train service. So on 3 train service, it would be near enough walk on, which is great. Park isn't that busy, but it is busy. It always feels busy, Legoland. It always feels a bit more compact. You know, the demographic of people that come here tend to just get in your way all day. It's the nicest way I can put it. I'm sorry if you visit here quite a lot, but I hate visiting the park. Not because of the rides and the staff or anything, but because of the people that come here. However, we so far have had a really good day. So that was the 2 biggest rides. That's Ninjago and the Dragon out the way. Now, the park is in desperate need of another roller coaster. We just posted this on our Facebook, and we 100% stick by this. You know, the Dragon and the Dragon's Apprentice is just not enough for the amount of visitors that attracts this park. And we've talked about Mia's Ride and Adventure being a 1.2 height restriction, and of course there is like a 13 ride at one of their Legoland parks, and it would fit here quite nicely. Space might be an issue, but they have expanded over the back. They have got permission to expand over the back, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not they put in permission for something big, or whether or not they just put in permission for more lodges or hotels or something. Fingers crossed they don't, because the ones they've got are really expensive. So yeah, expansion is on the cards. We know that the Ghost to Haunted House, which is very popular elsewhere, which got turned down initially due to traffic concerns, has actually now been agreed. Whether or not they decide to put it sort of, it's pretty much over here. So let's turn around now. And my son is just kicking things. Over there is about where they wanted to put it, sort of between Atlantis and this area. Whether or not they do that now, we're not sure. They've got permission for it, but Ninjago seem to take priority over that. And I'm not surprised, the little mini drop towers may not suit the park that well. And particularly as Merlin have had a lot of problems with them, with height restrictions and various other bits and pieces. Ninjago certainly seemed a safer choice, and all we lost was a maze for it. So, you know, the rides, they have expanded, they are doing well. You know, the park is forever popular. You don't get as much discount here as you do at the other parks. You know, for a Merlin kind of premium annual pass holder, you don't necessarily feel like you're getting better treatment here. Should you? Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure you'll tell me differently. But we do enjoy the day out. We don't enjoy the people. The staff have been good today so far. You know, the park looks good. Looks good. Generally looks clean. Looks in good condition. The landscaping's very well done. The rides all seem to be up. We did have, as I said, Ninjago was shut for a bit, but it's new. We'll allow that. And now we're going to go and catch the new pirate show. So we've heard mixed reviews about the pirate show. We're going to go and catch that and see what it's like. But just behind us now, we used to have the barbecue place here. We now don't. We now have a graphic. When you look back at the graphic, it's clearly not a graphic of this park, because there's a lot going on that isn't here. But it's a graphic nonetheless. So let's head down to the pirate show and see what's going on. to Skeleton Bay, the return of something. I kind of missed the title to it, I'm not going to lie to you. Now, Cody here, you really enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you think it was better than the old one?
Yeah.
You did. Kurt, what did you think?
I think it's alright.
Yeah, I have to say, I didn't enjoy it at all. The music's not as catchy, the kind of storyline's not as catchy, the opening number just seemed to go on forever to a point where I just got a little bit bored. So I was really disappointed with it. You know, stunts are still good, and you got to have respect for the stuntmen for doing it. You know, they're still good. So we'll look over here. So this is the famous drive-in school. Now the boys don't want to go on this today. I actually think Kurt's a bit too tall for it now, perhaps, because you were borderline last time you went on it last year. And over the back you've got the Coast Guard HQ. He does like to drive his own boat. Obviously you can't drive your own boat. We'd all have to free go in one, so we're going to give that a skip as well. But Lego City is a particularly popular area of the park. You know, driving school and the Coast Guard HQ is kind of the ones that people tend to come to first because they get the longest queues. Capacity isn't great, and although they've kind of expanded the Coast Guard HQs to 3 lanes, you still seem to have a forever wait, and at the moment it's sitting at 45 minutes. Bear in mind we can get on and off the Dragon in half hour. 45 minutes queue for the boat ride is not something that we particularly want to do. But it's a lovely space here, and this is kind of iconic, the driving school. You know, it kind of set it all off, Legoland, having one of these. It's a good size, it's a good amount of cars. It's very popular, and the queue can be hugely misleading because obviously the adults standing there and the older children standing there, and then when you get down to it, it's only the little children that actually come on it. But we're going to give that a miss today, and we've done the show, so we're now going to head up to Fairy Tale Brook and maybe the helicopters. We're going to have a look at those and maybe a look around Tupelo Valley and see what's going on there. And here we are on Fairy Tale Brook. Now, it's a good few years back now. Received a bit of a new model kind of theme. So something that had a lot of 2D sort of models replaced with 3D models. As you can see, because we'll talk as we go around, and you can enjoy some of the scenery for it. But I do think they forgot the queue line. The queue line looks abysmal. When we say the park generally looks good, we then walk into the queue line for this, and the paint's flaking, and the wood's falling apart, and the toy bits are falling apart, and yeah, really quite disappointing. As you can see, the boats aren't very well spread out today. The station doesn't seem to spread them out. They do have a conveyor belt at the end, which kind of stops them going over, but for some reason they all came into the station at once with a massive gap behind them all, so we've all kind of left the station as one as well. We're not actually that up on Legoland, but we believe this is one of the original rides that opened with the park. You can tell in some areas, it's grown up quite nicely, there's nice scenery around it, nice bit of greenery. She's telling me to be quiet. That's not very nice, is it? Why is she doing that? Why is she doing that? But you'll notice some of the obviously famous figures as we go around. Who's that, Cody? Who's that, Kurt?
I don't know.
Who did you say?
I'm wrong. I don't know.
Who did you say?
Hansel and Gretel.
I think it is Hansel and Gretel, yeah. And here they are again.
Yeah, it is.
It's a gingerbread house.
Yeah.
He doubted himself there. Absolutely doubted.
No, it's because I looked at them and I thought it, and then I thought, oh no, the gingerbread house isn't until further around.
Yeah,
but no, it's there.
Yeah, here they are, eating Lego. Who would eat Lego?
It's normal.
Here's the Seven Dwarfs with minion hats on. As Cody rightly pointed out last time we come on, that is definitely a minion hat. Take a good look at that. His hat looks like a minion. Who's this, Cody? You agree?
What? Well, who did he say?
He said Cinderella.
Yeah,
I agree.
okay.
Cinderella. He's crying. I wouldn't be happy getting into that either. Looks a bit small. We've now completely caught up the boat in front. Just going to give him a little nudge. And this is the problem, you see, where the boats aren't spread out and you're trying to enjoy the scenery. All you're worried about now is whether or not you're going to plough into the boat in front of you, which we are continuously doing. Who's that, Cody? Who's that, Kurt? Oh my
stepmother,
god.
innit? Like no.
My god.
Oh, I don't know.
These two are utter rubbish. How do you not know your fairy tales? Did you not learn this at school?
No.
Oh my god. Did you not learn this when you're about the age? You should be
It's
learning. Did I not teach you this? This might come back on me.
I can't remember.
Fairy godmother, maybe?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, there we go, he's on it. Who's that? That's a weird guy pulling a handle, that's what that is. Might be a bit loud in here. Oh, scratch a bit. I'm guessing this is Aladdin's cave with the genie. That's probably Jafar trying to get in outside. That's my guess. It's not all that clear.
This is my command, master.
Thank you. Lovely. Right, what are we coming around to around here then? This is an easy one.
Oh, this is simple. Who did he say?
No, Red Riding Hood. It's like Goldilocks to me.
He is.
And I think they're the three bears.
Goldilocks and the three
But
bears.
there we go.
Little Red Riding Hood's there.
You're around the corner.
It's because it's on the right side of the boat.
Yeah. So when you think about it, a lot of the fairy tales are actually quite horrible. You know, this poor girl's going inside to get eaten now.
Grandma!
You can't really
Open the door!
you know,
It's Little Red Riding Hood! Are you there, Grandma?
that doesn't excuse the fact that grandma's already been
Open the
eaten.
door!
But don't worry, when you get inside, the brolly that you weren't carrying on the outside, you can now smack up with. So the burning question is, where's Grandma? We've lost Grandma, so this is the good part about the end. And the reason why they have this is to spread the boats out. It doesn't appear to be working very well because we are literally 4 in a row at the moment. We'll go over this and we'll see you at the end of the ride. We are flying on the whirly rigs. Oh no, sorry, Duplo Valley Airport. How silly of me. Can we go up? Let's go up. Ooh. Deep in the heart of Duplo Valley. So that was us down in Duplo Valley. Now we find the areas tend to roll into one here, and Duplo Valley is certainly one of those that tend to roll into kind of Lego City. It's only when you leave and come back to Miniland that you feel you're somewhere different. Now Duplo Valley was another sort of fairly new area. You know, obviously we're not going to film the water park for obvious reasons, but there's no one in there anyway because it's the middle of September. The clouds are coming over. It hasn't started raining yet, which is good. But there's no one in the water park. And again, I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's from a maintenance point of view why they would bother putting a big water park like that in a theme park in the UK. But you know, Legoland have done it. Whether or not it's popular, I can't answer that question. But yeah, it's still open. Still open in the middle of September. Quite shocked by that. But we went on the Duplo Valley Airport, which I know as the Whirly Rigs back in the day. It's just all right, isn't it? You did the steering. Yeah, he's quite happy with it. It's nothing spectacular. There's not really a lot else in Duplo Valley to go in. We kind of went in, we've already been on the Storybook. There's a couple of little rides around the back, little train, and obviously the water park, which we're not going to be going in today because it's going to rain shortly. I say that as the sun comes back out, but it is due to rain shortly. Probably won't rain at all now. So we come back in the Miniland. So here we are in Miniland. This is the bottom end. So this was quite busy here earlier. Mainly because the park was due to open and the countdown to the stages over there. You saw the countdown for the stage. And this is kind of where people queue to head down to Lego City to go on your driving schools first thing, or go down to Ninjago or along to the Dragon. Now we're going to walk through Miniland, so we'll keep some sights and we'll do some filming as we go through and head down to the Spinning Spider, which is one of our favourites because the Spinning Spider is one of those where you turn it, it goes. You know, we're kind of used to Alton Towers one, which is a little bit weak. Not terrible, and then you're used to Fort Parks ones, which I swear is actually just bolted to the platform. I don't even think it turns at all. But the one here, lethal, absolute lethal. So we're going to go on the Spinning Spider. We usually can't actually do anything when we're on the Spinning Spider because it moves so fast. But we'll see. We'll see how we get on today.
To that building. Spitters. Hi.
So that was the spinning spider. Obviously you didn't see us on it because there's no way I could have spun and done that at the same time. But we're currently leaning against the post. Now Kurt's kind of balancing nicely. Now, if you haven't been on this and you've looked at it and thought, oh, it's not really very good, it's arguably the best thrill ride here, without a shadow of a doubt. And we've just got up, and you know, when the ride stops, we do have to stop, completely just sit for a moment and let the world kind of, I don't know, what's the word, go back to normal before before actually getting up. And I'm exhausted from that. I'm so unfit, it's unbelievable. So actually doing that is the most exercise I've had in a long time. But we're just recovering. If you haven't done the spinning spider when you come to Legoland, make it your top priority. If you've got someone with some good arms that can spin it,
So I can just go like that.
it's an absolute must. How you feeling? Dizzy. How you feeling?
Quite dizzy.
Quite dizzy, yeah. Should we try walking a bit? Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult. You're doing all right. So we're, oh Jesus. Right, we're going to head up now to the river splash. We've just had a look, and apparently it's only got a 10-minute queue. And we don't mind a good rapids ride. Bearing in mind they all seem to be shut around the country these days. We're going to go up and see whether or not it's open and how the queue is. And hopefully by the time we get to the top, our brains would have recovered a bit, and we'll be walking in a straight line. So we made it up the hill, we made it into the queue line for the Viking River Splash. As you can see, we've just done a bit of filming beforehand. It's pretty much empty. It is pretty much walk on. Now frustratingly, and this might sound really snobby, I apologise if it does, all the cars are going around with 2s or 3s in, which is kind of the family groups that seem to be here today. For some reason we had to share with another group. So in terms of photo, we were unable to get a photo. Now, I don't mind sharing, don't get me wrong. When the queue's like to the end and there's loads of people waiting, I don't mind queuing at all. But in terms of how it is today and everything being walk-on, definitely a bit of a Mickey take that we've had to share with everyone else. Yet all these boats are coming back with 2 or 3 people in. But that aside, very bumpy ride. I always forget how bumpy this ride is. But the boat design, I mean, if we look down on this boat now, very different boat design to what they currently have at Alton Towers and Fort Park. And you know, you'd be hard pushed, obviously because of the accident this year is why there's been a lot of kind of extra emphasis on the boat rides, particularly the rapids ones. As we know, Fort Park has shut theirs now for the season, that will open next year. Whether or not it reopens with kind of modification, whether or not it reopens, given Fort Park's track record at the moment, we're not really sure. Alton Towers one, you know, you don't have any waterfalls on anymore, there's no sprinklers. This is very much the same. So again, looking over the drop part, where you used to have the big barrel, that was removed earlier on in the season. All the sprinkling ones down the back no longer sprinkle at you. There's no other bits and pieces. This over the entrance doesn't spray at you, and the water guns, the free pumping ones, are also out of order. Now we know we're not out of order, and you know, all parks should have thought about the fact that if you start spraying people in a boat, they will get up and move to get away from the spray. And it's baffled me it's taken this long for them to realise that. I don't particularly like them. I don't like the pay aspect of them. I've never enjoyed them, so I'm quite pleased those aspects are turned off, especially at Alton Towers and especially at Fort Park as well. But the boat designs are very different. So the reminiscence of the old boats, when we look back at Thunder River at Fort Park and we look back at the old kind of river rapids at Alton Towers before the boats were replaced, they have a really high back. And these are really deep, so the boat design on these is much better. They have doors, which the ones at Fort Park and Alton Towers don't have, and you just find that when you look at these boats, you'd find it a bit hard to be pushed. But if you were to stand up and get knocked, the chances of falling out of these compared to the other ones are a lot slimmer. Now that's not to say you couldn't, and it's not to say you should stand up. You actually absolutely shouldn't stand up, and we pretty much maintain, because you know, he's 8, my eldest is 13, they know they're not to stand up on this ride regardless. And I stick by that. You know, it's my responsibility. They've been told, we come to theme parks, go on a water ride, expect to get wet. That aside, this boat design is a lot better than what Fort Park and Alton Towers use. And whether or not we'll see a design change in the boat, you know, because quite arguably, when again you look at these, you know, the door area, you could quite easily have a higher door here. So again, if you were to get knocked standing on there, unless you're standing on a seat, chances of falling out rather than falling over are very slim. And I can't really see a way around it. You know, we haven't had accidents where people fall out. in the UK and loss of life until this year. Now we do have accidents, people do fall out of things. You know, their mother fell out of the bubble works boat. We still don't know how to this day, and sadly Chesterton wouldn't release the footage to me because I was going to have a right laugh over it. But potentially, if the boat had gone over her, it could have been fatal. And again, with the rapids rides, you know, we've seen on YouTube some stupid people get out and swim thinking it's a good idea. You know, there's really high power pumps you can see down here. So, you know, it's not something you want to get caught in if you're not a great swimmer. This particular one is a really bumpy ride, and it's always had someone over the back based there, where obviously now Alton Towers and Fort Park have kind of followed suit and has someone around the ride. It does mean that the manpower for this ride and the extra staff required is massive. And particularly when you look at Fort Park's one, it may be a case of then considering, do they bother? Storm Surge is very sort of a similar ride. I know it's not a log flume, not a rapids ride, but it's very similar in kind of design and things. And they're probably more likely to keep hold of that. And if they get the rapids, if they get the log flume open again next year, they may decide that's what they run with. It will be interesting to see which route Fort Park take, whether they decide to get the log flume back open or whether they decide to keep the rapids open. It's a very strange decision that the rapids is closed in September. You know, with Rush closed for them and Slammer closed unexpectedly this year, you know, it's a good support ride for the winter period. And you know, this isn't busy today because it's September. It's not that warm, it's not freezing by any means, but it's not that warm. You know, we've queued 45 minutes an hour for this ride, even with all the boats being filled. So it'd be interesting to see, it'd be interesting to see what they do. There shouldn't be a safety aspect problem with any of these rides. They've been functioning without issue for a long period of time. But these boats seem to be a lot better. The way that this ride's run is a lot better. Scenery wise, actually, if you look over it, particularly when you see the Ninjago building in the background now, this is arguably one of the worst scenery rides at Legoland, which is a bit of a shame. When you take the ones abroad, you know, you've got drops, you've got big hills, you've got far more models and things. The models that are here are obviously brilliant, but with that gone now, it does look a little bare. Whether or not maybe this is up for a bit of a retheme as well. Who knows? Who knows? They cram a lot of space in there. There's a lot of rides in quite a confined space. We've just walked up the hill. It's killed us after getting off the spinning spider, going through the zigzag queue line, which again isn't that well themed at all. That's absolutely killed us as well, jumping up and down. And we're now going to walk up the rest of the hill because this train here is closed to get back to the top. But no, successful. Rapids, good ride. Very bumpy. That is what a rapid should be like. Sound investment for the park back in 2007. I want to say 2007, and it's been a firm favourite. I don't think they have as much to worry about in terms of people getting out and trying to swim around as some other parks, and I think the boat design is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They could probably make it better, you always can, but compared to the other parks, brilliant. Today, we are leaving the park at 3 o'clock, would you believe? I know that sounds really bad, but we're leaving the park at 3 o'clock. However, you know, we've been here since 10 past 9. In fact, we've been here since 9. We've been in the park since 10 past 9. And how many rides have we managed today? So let's read the ones we've gone through. This is the park map.
So we've been on Fairy Tale Brook.
Yep.
The Duplo
You counting,
Valley,
Cody?
The Duplo Valley Airport.
Yep.
We did Atlantis and Squid Surfer.
Yep.
We did the Heart Lake City Express and Mia's Ride and Adventure.
Yep.
Laser Raiders and Scarab Bouncers.
Yep.
We did the Dragon. And we did Lego Ninjago, and we did Vikings, River Splash, and Spinning Spider.
So how many is that, Cody?
12.
12. So we've managed 12 rides today.
Yep, that's good.
Cody, you can take that. You can fold that back up because you'll want to keep that as a souvenir. So obviously it's not been as busy as some of the times you know, you hear reported and you kind of hear the horror stories of Legoland being full and you not being able to get out to it. Now in the past we've had a love-hate relationship with our visits to Legoland. However, easily the last 2 years we've had some fantastic days here. And we don't come here quite as much because from Portsmouth it's really easy to get to Fort Park and Chessington. But not quite so easy to get to Legoland. We have to take a slightly different route and it's a bit of a pain the journey and you can sometimes get caught on the way back out. So it's not something we like to come to as much as we do Chessington. And quite honestly, Chessington does have a kind of slightly bigger rides, and when you've got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old, they kind of like the slightly bigger rides. When you look over, you know, the car parks are full. We look right down the bottom there. They're not on the grass down the back, but the car parks are completely full. They're completely full around here. We're over in the corner. We're going to walk over there now while we summarise. We've had a really good day, and you know, we go on about planning and our tips and things, and we released our tips, and don't get me wrong, it's not always going to work. When the park is at capacity, you're going to struggle after 12 o'clock to get on too many rides. You are going to have to be really smart. And you know, with Legoland, we know that even rides like Ninjago have quite a high throughput, and you can tend to get on them quite quickly. You know, the Dragon, had it been a really busy day today, would have been on 3 trains and we'd have got on it even faster. But 20 minutes from the queue entrance, and people kind of look at it and they think, oh no, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, I'm going to be here forever. But it's not the case, and this is probably the only Merlin park where I kind of feel they don't oversell the fast track or the Q-bot as they have here. I kind of think that whatever they do runs absolutely right. Now, there is no secret this park is a lot more expensive than the other parks. You know, they say it's because of location. You know, as far as I'm aware, 3 of them are in London, not just the one. However, you know, the meals are a good £1, £1.50 dearer. You know, at any of the stalls and things, you can't get discount with your annual pass, which you can at the other parks. And you know, the perks aren't as good, so the park is generally more expensive. It's the Lego brand that carries that. We know it's the Lego brand that carries that. Make sure we don't get run over it. We'll get across the road. So yeah, we know it's the Lego brand that carries that, and even though the Lego brand seems to be in a little bit of trouble at the moment, you know, everyone loves Lego and the models here are amazing, and you know, we recommend visits to the park, and we've had an amazing day. As we said, we do have a little bit of a love-hate relationship. We used to come here, we used to not get a lot done, kind of get frustrated with the people, get a bit frustrated with the park, get a bit frustrated with the rides. But you know, over the last 10 years, the park are slowly moving away from the complete children aspect and really sort of moving into the family market. And you know, Mia's Rider Adventure was a good step into that. The Viking River Splash, which we just talked about, was an amazing step into that. That's really rough rapids, arguably more rough than the one at Alton Towers. Ninjago, you know, technology-wise, is brilliant. It's a great interactive family adventure. So yeah, they really are making a step in the right direction. We want to see another roller coaster. You boys want to see another roller coaster?
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, for those that didn't know, the park used to have another roller coaster, and the Jungle Coaster, which used to sit where the hotel is now. However, the ride was too loud for the locals. It's like a wild mouse style ride. Funnily enough, it's now located at Legoland, Florida. They kind of did a swap when it was Cypress Gardens, when Legoland bought it over there, and they sent a certain spinning tub ride, which we may have already mentioned in this vlog, Storm Surge, in the other direction. That ended up at Thorpe Park. I say unfortunately. Either way, we visit both parks, so it's a bit unfortunate for whichever one gets it. But they sent that way, and the Jungle Coaster went the other way. The Jungle Coaster was good fun. The problem was, towards kind of the end, it had a roof put on it. We do have videos and pictures of it on our Facebook page, not our Facebook page, on our website for you to look at, and we may well link in the bottom as well so you can have a look at it. And I just remember it being a heat trap, so you had a massive plastic contraption over the top to stop people screaming. Bear in mind, it wasn't a particularly thrilling coaster. I still don't really know why people were screaming, but they really did scream on it. And I just remember getting into it. I think it had a 1.1 height restriction, and just being hot, it was just awful. But it's a bit of a shame, you know, they chose the hotel, and the hotel blocks a lot of noise off from kind of the outside part of it. And I think it's going to be over this side, where they are now, where they've kind of got permission now to start building rides, where we may well see something new in the future. So from today, a fantastic day. You know, it's a Saturday, it's typically a busy day, but we've had a great day. We've got on everything we wanted to get on. We could have gone on more, we could have waited around a bit longer, but we know what the traffic's going to be like. No complaints. Staff have been good. Any problems with staff, Kurt?
Nope.
No problems with the staff. Rides seem to be running smooth. A little glitch on Ninjago, but actually helped us out because we arrived at a sandwich, it reopened with no queue, so that worked quite well for us. So no, thumbs up to Legoland. Amazing day, highly recommended for the rest of the season. So thank you for joining us from Legoland today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. We've been a bit tired. It's been, I'll be perfectly honest, it's been a long week at work. The boys have been back at school, and we all know how difficult school is. So it's kind of our first weekend we've treated ourselves since the summer. And we are the middle of September now, so we've got quite a few vlogs left. We've got quite a lot to cover over the over kind of the next few months, including the Brickell Treat. So Kurt will quickly pan around for the Brickell Treat, which starts on the 14th to the 30th. Now we are a little bit worried because it appears that the fireworks have stopped being advertised in the park. Now they are advertised still on the maps, but last time we came they were advertised in the park, and the places where they're advertised seem to be blank. So we are going to check the fireworks are on, because Brickell Treat alone sadly isn't really a good enough excuse to come back to the park during a busy time, where the fireworks are a good excuse because the fireworks are really good. So we are going to check that before we come back. But yeah, thank you for joining us today. We've got quite a lot of vlogs coming on. Make sure you subscribe. Please check out our other programs as well. So we've got our Attractions 15 program, which will give you all the latest news from UK theme parks, as well as a Halloween special which went online last weekend. That will include the details of Brick or Treat, and hopefully include the details of the fireworks if we can find out. And we'll also include all the other Halloween scares from the theme parks. The following week we'll be looking at some of the kind of independent scares, so your Tullies and bits and pieces as well. But for today, thank you for joining us. Hope you've had a great time, and we'll see you next time.